Alright, I used to associate the East with slow-paced games, but now it's starting to be the opposite because of the amount of bottom feeders in the conference, and all they want to do is try to outscore their opponent. There's a reason the Bulls are the second worst defensive team in the league, and as I've said many times before, when the better team gets into these run-and-gun games against them, it plays right into their hands because it's the only way for them to win. That flow is always going to allow both teams to establish a rhythm, and the Celtics have a tendency of playing into that because of the amount of firepower they have, so I can understand why they do. They were coming down for quick trays and were exploiting those cross matches in transition, especially Jalen, because he was consistently playing bully ball for sprays. But it was more about Porzingis' impact in that two-man game with all of them, and even more so with Tatum, because every time he brought Vooch into the action, it was a bucket, so that was his hunt of the night. If Vooch switched or dropped, Tatum's getting his, but if he was up, that's a look for Porzingis, and he can even exploit the small being switched onto him, so it was a lose-lose scenario no matter how Vooch played it. This was just classic Celtics basketball of quick trays and mismatches in the first half, but at the same time, they weren't getting stops, so it was just an exchange of buckets, and this is why them playing into this tendency can sometimes get them into trouble. The Bulls had a few stretches where they could have potentially broke the game open, and the first was that quick 11-0 run in the second, but it was really Vooch's stretch to end the quarter that made the biggest difference. He threed it 4 straight times on a quick pop or trail, and that gave him some momentum to carry over into the third for another quick 13-2 run to start the quarter. They were either finding him inside or still running out for easy ones, and that was their best chance at breaking the game open, but unfortunately, the Celtics had response for every one of those stretches. It was all Tatum in the third exploiting the same matchups as he was earlier, but even worse was Trey and Pritchard getting a couple shots off in the quarter, because that's all he needed to go on his patented heater in the fourth, and once they realized he was rolling, they just gave him the rock to let him fry. He single-handedly shifted the momentum in their favor, and his 19 in the quarter gave him the lead to control down the wire. When I think of a straight hooper, he comes to mind because of how fast he can run it up, and when I think of barbecue chicken, Vooch comes to mind because he's basically a feast for everybody. Just watch the tape.
Goodness. Payton Pritchard is single-handedly